Nobody told me that it's okay to be gay in Japan, and I needed somebody to tell me that it's okay. I wanted to also encourage my friends in Europe and the US, in Africa, who are suffering with religious beliefs and values that they grew up with. If it's religion that has influenced them, I wanted to say to them that in Buddhism, it says it's okay, and I want people to have diverse knowledge.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. If you're enjoying the show, subscribing is the best way to support us. It helps us grow and bring you new stories from life in Japan. All right, let's jump in. Welcome to Unpacking Japan. I'm Toby, and I have the pleasure to welcome Kodo Nishimura. Thank you so much for coming all the way to meet us here in Osaka.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're a Buddhist monk, you're an artist. You've also authored this very, very fascinating book, Be Who You Are, or This Monk Wears Seals, Be Who You Are. And we have many other things to talk about today, from your journey to self-discovery, to becoming a monk, to working as an artist while being a monk, which I think might surprise many people who don't know you.
Right.
And let's start at the beginning. You grew up in a temple in Tokyo, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
What was it like growing up in a temple?
So I was born in 1989 in Tokyo in a temple. My father is a Buddhist monk. And when I was born, everybody was so excited that a male child was born because my parents waited 10 years until I was born. So people were saying like, oh, now you have an heir to inherit the temple, you can relax. But when I was having some kind of like consciousness, I knew that I wanted to be a princess. I loved Little Mermaid and Belle from Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella. And I wanted to have like long hair floating in the air, just like shampoo commercial. So for me to think about shaving or think about a life without any jewels or dresses, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want other people to decide what I'm going to do in my future. So I was very angry at what was expected upon me. When I was young, I always was singing, dancing, drawing, role-playing as princess using my mother's jewelry and one-piece skirt so I could feel like a princess.
So you said you kind of discovered this as soon as you had consciousness, kind of.
Yes.
Your interest shifted towards this. But you were growing up in the temple, which maybe had different expectations of you. How did you combine the day-to-day? Did you take part in temple life, or did you kind of just go to school like
I didn't like Buddhism back then, so I was always hiding from any of the Buddhist ceremonies or guests who are coming, and I would just try to be a princess. I also knew that I was homosexual. I didn't know the term homosexual or gay, but I was attracted to other boys when I was maybe 4 or 5. But I knew that it was something that I shouldn't talk about to other people. So I had a lot of secrets and dilemmas in my life.
It's kind of like living this dual life growing up.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily hide my expression. I always wanted to wear pink and wear something cute and hold my stuffed toy animals. So that I didn't hide. But about my sexuality, I was hiding.
You went to study arts in the United States. How did you bring that conversation about? Your parents were running the temple, and you were, when you were young, expected to maybe take over. But sooner or later, you had to have the conversation. I want to go abroad. I want to study arts. I want to do something else.
When I was in high school, I became aware of my sexuality even more, and I was closing myself even more from other people because I was afraid of discrimination or bully sometimes that I had experienced. And at that time, I started watching American movies and listening to American music, Mariah Carey and Janet Jackson, Destiny's Child. Michael Jackson, and they were singing about racism or female empowerment. And those type of lyrics were not popular in Japan. Most of the Japanese songs talk about bittersweet relationships between boys and girls, and I didn't feel included. So when I heard that, oh, there are other social issues that are being talked about in popular music in the US, I felt that, oh, maybe I can be myself and be still respected. And my parents, when they were in their 30s, they lived in Germany for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they know German and English, and they know the importance of growing up and experience a life abroad. So I think they already knew how it's like to live outside, and these things combined, I my parents were supportive, and I decided to go to the US after high school.
Oh, it's kind of beautiful that in a way they still, although they wanted you to probably be part of temple life, kind of encouraged you to just follow your dream. What?
But to be honest, I don't think my parents really wanted me to be a monk,
Mm-hmm.
because my father was adopted by relative of the temple family, like a far relative,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a second son of a farmer. So he was
Oh.
not going to inherit the farm. Hence, he was sent to Japan to inherit the temple. So he has better opportunities. And when he was younger, he wanted to be an actor or wanted to be a screenwriter. So he didn't necessarily want to be a Buddhist monk. So he never really forced me or pushed
Oh,
me.
I see.
Mm.
What was it like then for you? Growing up in a temple and suddenly you go to the United States, you study arts. You must have arrived at a campus that was very diverse,
Right.
very international, perhaps, and
Mhm.
very new for you.
It was very shocking. At Parsons School of Design, one of the art and design schools in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
The first year, the students are so excited to be at their dream school that they dress up every morning. Some of them wear like red lips and blonde hair and heels. Some of them wear tap shoes to the classes. Very, very colorful. It's like a fashion show. Like, you know how runway models line up
Mm-hmm.
before they go to the
Yeah.
runway? It was just like that, like the first semester of my school,
Wow.
waiting for the elevator to go up to the classroom.
Everyone's lined up, dressed up,
Yes,
and
yes,
ready to
yes.
go. It's like a catwalk, but
Right.
in the university corridor.
Right. So I felt that, oh, I have to dress up, and I should show my personality. When I was in Japan, I was told to cut my hair short above my
Mm-hmm.
eyebrows, and we couldn't perm or color, no nail polish or nothing outside of the uniform. So I felt liberated. I felt the school was telling me the opposite of what the Japanese high school was teaching me. So it was a little confusing, but that's what I actually wanted to do since when I was a baby. So I felt like, oh, this is maybe a place where I can cultivate my essence.
What exactly did you study at that arts college? Because there's many, many avenues, right, for you to kind of explore.
Ah, so when I was young, I studied Japanese flower arrangement, and I
Oh.
was interested in spatial design and sculpture and also drawing. So fine arts is what I majored at Parsons. We did paintings, we did drawings, clay, also welding with all the
Mm-hmm.
sparks. Um, I also studied art history, theory, a lot of um, mixed classes, and it was really interesting.
I think that after your graduation, you started your career as a makeup artist.
Right.
So, at what point did you discover makeup and kind of um, maybe doing it for yourself, but as a makeup artist, also doing it for others is something completely different? When did that kind of become an interest?
I was always interested in makeup, but I felt that because I'm a physically male person, I shouldn't be doing makeup. When I went to a cosmetic counter in Japan maybe 15 years ago, the lady at the counter told me, "Oh, welcome. Are you looking for a gift for your mother or girlfriend?" And I couldn't say that I wanted foundation for my skin. So I didn't feel welcome to do makeup. But when I went to the US at the cosmetic counters, there were male clerks with like huge wing
Oh,
liner or fire going to their head.
wow.
It's like painted, glitters and lashes, and they were really confident. And I felt that, oh, here maybe I can express myself a little bit more freely. And when I went to the US, another reason is that I felt inferior of my Asian features. I grew up watching Disney princesses
Hmm.
and princes. So when I see people with blue eyes or thin nose, tall, blonde, curly angel hair, I was like, oh, they are so beautiful. I can never be beautiful like them because I was born with different genes. And I felt that very kind of disappointed with myself. But in 2007, Miss Universe Japan won Miss Universe in the world. And there was a book about her. And it said, if you think blue eyes, long legs, blonde hair are required to be considered beautiful, this book about her will change your life. And the book talked about makeup and self expression.
Wow.
So that's when I started to have interest in makeup.
It's very interesting what you said about as well about Disney, right? Because it's
Yes.
only very recently that they've started to diversify a lot their heroes and princesses and princes to kind of maybe reflect the people of the world and not just one stereotype.
I
So growing up
know.
in, I guess, our generation, we only had always ever the same kind of
Right.
princesses.
Good thing that we had Mulan, but
We did have Mulan. So you discover makeup and this kind of interests you and you can finally express yourself. Um, you mentioned earlier that growing up you knew you were homosexual and
Mm.
you suppressed it while being here. When you went to the United States and you suddenly discovered all this diversity, is this a moment when you started kind of realizing and talking about this more openly as well?
Yes, I made friends who were very open. I had friends from Spain who were holding hands
Hmm.
with his boyfriend in the train or kissing. And I was like, aren't you going to get stopped by somebody or are you going to get harassed? I was so scared.
Hmm.
And they took me to gay clubs and gay bars, and my hands were shaking and my whole body was so cold because I was never exposed to this. And I was even afraid to verbally say the word gay out loud. So the world that they kind of dragged me into was very frightening. But little by little, I experienced that like happiness of being able to say what I want to say and being able to express how I want to express myself without hesitation. And that was a huge, like I felt my soul was breathing and I didn't want to stop breathing wherever I went. So that's when I kind of started to grow my confidence, having experienced this friendship and this happiness.
What are you thinking about doing at the time? You discover all these things, you feel this weight coming off your shoulders.
Mm.
You get your degree in arts. I imagine you thinking about a career as a makeup artist or working in the arts in New York City. Uh, did you have a plan? Did you have something you're like, oh, now I wanna be this person. I wanna live my life like this.
Sure. After graduating from university, I aspired to be a professional makeup artist. I assisted a makeup artist just like the Devil Wears Prada.
Mm-hmm.
I was running around in Manhattan with tall uh, Starbucks cups,
Yeah.
trying not to drop them. And I assisted and I worked for Miss Universe. I also moved to LA to do makeup,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually got to do makeup for Halle Bailey, who is an
Oh.
actress who played Ariel in The Little Mermaid. So I was very set to become a professional makeup artist.
Was it like a dream come true in a way to do the makeup for this actress that kind of played a
Yes.
character you admired for so long growing up?
Yes, it was a huge blessing. I felt like the universe was doing like a huge celebration for me
Hmm.
because for a long time I was suppressing myself. And usually these shows or events it's almost like a concert with real performers, and it's like a party. So I feel that they were rooting for me.
So what made you come back to Japan? What was
So
the event that made you say, oh, the United States is great, but I want to go back?
after spending 11 years in the US, I was having some more opportunities in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I appeared in Queer Eye, the Netflix series that I had been watching since when I was a teenager, the original series before
Mm-hmm.
this series came out. And I got that role. And I also was asked to write my book in English. Oh, I also was given an opportunity to write a book in Japanese first.
Mm-hmm.
So I had these opportunities to um, complete in Japan, and COVID started in 2019. So since then, I have been staying in Japan.
Queer Eye. It's
Yeah.
such an iconic show.
Mm.
It has the original version that you mentioned watching when you were younger, and now
Right.
with a new team. I
Mm.
think it's currently in the process of having the final season. What was it like to be on a show like this with all these famous kind of participants, Jonathan Van Ness
It
and
was a dream come true. The first time I saw Queer Eye on TV, I was maybe 13 or 14. And at that time in Japan, there were almost no depiction or portrayal of LGBTQ people in a positive light. All of them were portrayed as villains or perverted. Although I love animes, LGBTQ people were often villains
Mhm.
or some role that was really weird. So to see LGBTQ people as heroes on TV was so shocking to me. I was worried for their life again to come out on TV, and but they were helping other people and they were making others happy. So that gave me a lot of confidence, and that was a huge like a shift of mind. And after many years to be on the show, um, to be one of the kind of change makers to give confidence to other people, I felt very like this is what you guys gave me, the show gave me, and now I'm sharing this with the world. So I'm very, very honored.
we were talking about it just before we started
Yeah.
recording that this team of people just changing other people's life for the better, making them realize they can let go of some things and just have their inner personality shine through.
I have one little story.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Kressley, who is the original cast of Queer Eye, also a judge of RuPaul's Drag Race, he was a commentator for Miss USA and Miss Universe. And when I was working for that competition, I got to do Carson's makeup. And after getting to know him, he sent me like a autographed book to me, and we became a little like friends. And then when I was auditioning for Queer Eye, he gave me like an encouragement message. And later, I published this book because of Queer Eye, and his message is on the
Mm-hmm.
cover.
I can read it here since I
Yeah.
have it in front of me. It says, "They say to really know someone, you must walk a mile in their shoes. Reading Kodo's story felt like I had popped on a pair of heels, and it was fabulous." From Carson Kressley. So he encouraged you to be on that show, and he later wrote this message to be on top of the book, a book that you kind of had the opportunity to write first in Japanese, more or less at the same time, or just after your appearance on Queer Eye. What was your idea behind that book? Why did you decide to write it?
I wanted to write this book because nobody told me that it's okay to be gay in Japan, and I needed somebody to tell me that it's okay. And I wanted to also encourage my friends in Europe and the US, in Africa, who are suffering with religious beliefs and values that they grew up with, that they denied their sexuality. If it's religion that has influenced them, I can also become a religious leader who tells another story. So I wanted to say to them that in Buddhism, it says it's okay. And I want people to have diverse knowledge. So that's why I share my learnings here.
So the title of the book in English, This Monk Wears Heels, Be Who You Are. Up until now, we kind of talked about how you grew up in a temple, but then moved away a little bit from Buddhism, so to say, to discover arts, discover life abroad, and discover yourself. You come back to Japan, and nowadays you are a monk. So when did religion come back into your life, so to say, and when did you decide to actually, I want to kind of commit myself to the teachings?
When I was living in New York, everybody came from different backgrounds, and me working at Miss Universe also made me realize that my roots, my background is something that makes me special. And I was always shying away from Buddhism, but I felt that this is something that I need to learn better in order to improve myself.
Mm-hmm.
I always had prejudice about Buddhism because I didn't want Buddhism to take over my life. I didn't learn about it enough, but my mom, who is a piano teacher, she told me that if you want to say that you don't like the Mozart's music, you have to study his composition and you have to play, compare with other composers, and then you can finally say, this is what I like or what I don't like about the music. But if you don't know, if you haven't studied, your opinion doesn't matter or it doesn't mean anything. And
Wow.
that was the same with Buddhism. I knew that if I chant, I can be enlightened to the Pure Land. But why is Buddhism so poignant to many people? Why a lot of people believe in this? I didn't really know. So in order to discover this, and also to again discipline myself as Japanese, I decided to join the monk training.
Um, how does it start? How do you actually join the training? Do you kind of go to a temple and go to talk to the head monk or the abbot and introduce yourself and I want to become a monk?
So first you have to find a master.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, it was my father. And then you prepare for the entrance exam, which takes 3 parts. One is to how to wear the monk robe.
Mm-hmm.
We have like a proper choreography to wear the monk robe.
Okay.
So you have to learn that. You also have to learn how to do chanting, basic chanting. We have something like a drum
Mm-hmm.
and like a bell. So we have to memorize when to do this and be able to recite the sutra and the Buddhist history written exam. So I had to pass these 3 tests. The first time I didn't pass. Maybe my father was too easy with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to fly back all the way from New York to take the retest. So the second time I passed. And when you enter the training, it's about 2 to 3 weeks training, 5 times, winter, summer, winter, summer, winter. And you are locked up in a temple in Kyoto or in Tokyo with 90 other male and, 90 other monks. Maybe 80%, 85% male and 15% female. And we wake up at 5:30 every morning and we start the ceremony from 6. We have 5 ceremonies in total in a day. We also have 7 hours of classes, 3 hours, 3 hours, and 1 hour in a day. We learn about uh, the meanings of sutras, history, morals, how to run religious organization, a lot of exams, memorizing the sutras and writing kanjis. So these were really difficult. But with everybody is having hard times. So with this friendship bond, we were able to complete it.
So you were kind of still in New York at the time and flying back and
Right.
forth for the exam and kind of doing the teachings. You are part of Pure Land Buddhism, part of the, I guess, Buddhist teaching schools. There's many different ones.
Right.
In Japan, one of the popular ones would be Zen Buddhism, I guess. What is unique to Pure Land Buddhism? What are some of the teachings that kind of make this school of Buddhism?
So the main teaching of Pure Land Buddhism is that when we chant the name of Amida Buddha, unlimited light Buddha, he is going to take us to the Pure Land. There, which we can become our versions of Buddha with our own universe. And we want to go there because in this circle of life, in this reincarnation, there is always suffering that we cannot escape from. So in order to escape from this, we want to be enlightened and kind of graduate from this
I see.
circle. So that's the teaching.
You were at the time kind of discovering and exploring your homosexuality as well in New York, and then kind of going to Buddhism. Did you ever wonder, like, oh, is it possible to be a gay monk and to kind of, can I still be myself, or do I have to somehow put these things back, like lock them up as you did when you were a child?
So some of the biggest reasons I didn't want to be a monk is because I thought that I had to get married to a woman. I cannot be gay, and I have to give up dressing up. And in the training, we learned that no dressing up, no watching dances or listening to music, sleeping on high beds, which sounded kind of archaic to me, unrealistic in the life of today. And I saw other monks around me having alcohol after ceremonies, which is very common in Japan. So I was like, how serious do we have to be with these rules? Well, when I went to Thailand and stayed in a temple, they live a very traditional monk life where they shave their brows and where they don't touch money, they don't touch women, and they live in the monastery and they don't really go out or they go home. The difference in Japan is that once you are certified as a Buddhist monk, you sometimes have another job. For example, my father was a university professor.
Wow. Okay.
We had a neighbor who was a doctor, who was a teacher. So for me, it was kind of usual to see monks doing other things. That's why I also thought that it's okay to be a makeup artist also. But I wasn't really sure how strict I have to live after becoming a Buddhist monk. So at the end of the monk training, I asked a master who is supposed to be like the next kind of like pope in our school. He is very respected by many people. These two questions: if it's okay that I'm a homosexual, and can I wear something shiny after becoming a Buddhist monk? And the master told me that in Pure Land Buddhism, everybody is equally valuable. Just like the moonlight shines onto everybody, the people who decides to look up to the moon can appreciate its light. And that's the mercy of Amida Buddha, that it shines onto everybody. Even if you're a prostitute or a sex worker, a criminal who hunt animals, especially those people, if they feel some resentment, they can be enlightened. And they didn't necessarily say homosexual people, but I was sure that if it's everybody, it's everybody. So he kind of reaffirmed that your sexuality do not matter. And Siddhartha Gautama, who started Buddhism, and Honen, who started Pure Land Buddhism, would be enlightened and would be very happy to welcome you as a Buddhist monk. So there's no problem. And second, he said about my outfit that Buddhism is something alive and it's something that evolves with time. Depending on the people, the culture, country, it changes its form. And in Japan now, the monks get married, they have different jobs. And when they are performing as a teacher, they wear watches. When they are doctors, they wear scrubs. So the most important thing as a Buddhist monk is to help people that we are all, help people and tell them that we are all valuable. So if you can do that, if you wear something shiny, what would be the difference? I don't think that is a problem.
Sounds like a very wise master you had there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there were other masters who also told me that, oh, you have to strongly believe in Buddhism and live a traditional way. I think there are always two sides of people who believe in different things. Of course, there is an importance to preserving tradition and
Mhm.
old values, but also we have to adopt and take what's good and keep it moving. So
What are some of the teachings that you got during your training that particularly stuck with you, that you felt like, oh, this is something I want to keep with me and maybe put into this book and share with others?
yes, there is a story of a lotus flower in the Pure Land.
Hmm.
Pure Land is kind of like heaven, and many things are made of gold, and flower petals are raining from the sky. It's kind of like paradise. And in one of the sutras, it talks about the lotus flower pond. It says, blue lotus flower shines in blue light, a yellow lotus flower shines in yellow light, red lotus flower shines in red, white lotus flower shines in white, which means Buddhism supports each person to shine in their own color, and it supports diversity. That's what the master also told me. So that's not what I heard in school. That's not what I heard from my friends in different countries. I want people to feel confident enough to shine in their own color, because sometimes people have hidden talents,
Hmm.
some special strength that can be a potential or hope for the whole community. But if we um, force them to be a different form, they can never shine in their own color. So I would like to emphasize that to the world.
One element of your story that is very unique is how there's a religious aspect of it. You're a monk.
Oh,
Do you
yes.
feel like that changes the narrative when you talk about being LGBTQ, and when you talk to people that maybe are not too aware, or as you mentioned, maybe a bit afraid even, uh, but that because you bring this kind of religious aspect to the conversation, they might be like, oh, wait a second, there's a monk talking about this. I can listen to the monk's teaching.
Well, usually monks are respected in society, and back then LGBTQ people were not as respected. So if I were to merge these together, how can I confuse people?
Mm.
And I think it's very important that I present myself in a sophisticated way as much as I can, so that people have a different perspective about LGBTQ people. And if I can add that to the awareness of what it is to be an LGBTQ person, I think that's what I am happy to do. And I think I wanted to say something else. Mm. I think Buddhism is something that helps many people regardless of sexuality.
Hmm.
So if I can share some teachings that help me, um, I think that can help everybody, kind of like Queer Eye. You don't have to be a part of the LGBTQ person to receive help from Buddhist wisdom. So if I can be a bridge between that, then that I think is my role.
We briefly mentioned that since you're from Pure Land Buddhism, you explained a little bit about kind of the teachings and how
Mhm.
that was very suitable for your case. What about other Buddhist schools? Do you feel like it would have been possible for you to kind of go the same path, or do you notice differences when you, for example, discuss your lessons from Buddhism with a monk from another school or a monk from another country? Uh,
Mm.
are you still able to kind of relate, or do you see there sometimes is disagreement as well?
I think I'm very fortunate that my father is a Buddhist scholar who knows a lot about Buddhism, and he's pretty renowned in the school. So that kind of protected me from being bullied or criticized. I didn't study or stayed in other religious schools of Buddhism in Japan, so I don't really
Mm.
know the reality. But when I went to Thailand and I talked to a gay monk there who was not out, he told me that LGBTQ people are not as well, not really welcomed in the Thai monastery. If you are transgender, you wouldn't become a Buddhist monk. and he was closeted also. So I wish that people can participate in Buddhist practices regardless of sexuality, because that has really nothing to do with learning the religion. So I wish that it was open for everybody.
You then start having a big spotlight on you. You do these speaking events, you've appeared on Queer Eye, you have a book out, and that kind of turns you a little bit in somewhat of an activist, right? You're advocating for other people's right to be
Yes.
heard, to be seen. Do you feel that it's putting a lot of pressure on you to suddenly represent a much larger community of people that sometimes, as you just mentioned, are still closeted, are afraid to talk about it, are afraid to share with even their friends or family?
Mm, I think there are different types of pressure. When it comes to talking about equal rights or mm, for people to be honest with themselves, I have no pressure because that's how it should be. I have no hesitation to state that. But as a Buddhist monk, there is a lot of expectation that I also expect for other monks too,
Mm-hmm.
that I expect on me. So I'm in the process of trying to liberate myself from the expectation, because I'm not the ideal monk. I am me, and there are things that I like and I don't like. And yeah, I think trying to meet the expectation of others was something that I was doing a lot before. But at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is for me to not regret after my life. So I want to explore what I like to explore and be myself and say what I want to say and live the life that I think is fun for me and not what others think I should live.
You mentioned that you don't see yourself as like the perfect monk, so to say. What is a perfect monk? Is there such a thing as a perfect
I
monk?
don't think so, but waking up early, cleaning the temple from before the dawn, and studying and reciting all day, helping people tirelessly, being very like desire free.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of like an illusion or imagination. My father told me that as long as we are human, as long as we are animals, we can never live without desire. We can never be perfect.
Oh,
So these teachings, these kind of lessons exist because we are not perfect and we have desires. If we didn't have desires, these teachings wouldn't exist. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And, I spent many years with other monks, but none of them is perfect. So I think you just kind of like, celebrity. For example, I love Mariah Carey, but we only see Mariah Carey as the perfect Mariah Carey, but I'm sure that she has private moments and when she doesn't put on any makeup, but it's kind of like a performance, right? So it's kind of like that with monks too, I think.
what does your routine look like now then? How do you balance your
Ah,
responsibilities as a monk and your passion for makeup, your passion for arts, your speaking engagements? Um, do you have a routine or do you have to kind of balance both somehow?
yes. Well, I do a lot of things. Now I started painting.
Oh,
Next year in 2026, I'm going to have my own art exhibition in summer. So I'm painting now.
wow, that's exciting. In
Thank
Japan?
you. Yes, yes. Which I would invite everybody to come see. And I also do a lot of talks at universities, different agencies, different companies, podcasts that I'm very happy to be here today,
Thank you.
interviews, yeah, talking at temples. So every day I check my schedule, and yeah, and also I'm helping my Colombian husband to adjust to Japan. So sometimes he needs to make an appointment at the dentist,
Mhm.
or sometimes he needs to fill out Japanese documents. And yeah, I feel like I was never a mother, but like at home, taking care of family or work. It's kind of juggling.
Is it how difficult is it to kind of throughout such a busy schedule and so many things to juggle around to kind of keep the teachings in mind and your practice? I think that perhaps maybe people interested in Buddhism feel like, oh, I want to start practicing meditation or I want to study this or that, but then life gets in the way. And then it kind of gets difficult to maintain a practice, to kind of make time to study or to reflect on things. How do you do it?
I like to write my thoughts on a notebook, kind of like journaling, because sometimes a lot of thoughts are occupied in my head and it kind of haunts me like a ghost. But if I make them visible, the ghosts are not ghosts anymore. They are kind of things that are like getting to be organized. And once it is organized, maybe I can see a solution. Maybe I can see, oh, this is what I have to do. And I don't feel so overwhelmed anymore. So that's something I do. Another thing I like to do is to talk with my friends. My moon sign of astrology is Gemini. So I like to talk a lot, and this kind of recharges me, it heals me, it relaxes me. So these are the two things, like outputting my thoughts.
Do you often refer to a Buddhist text as well to look for answers, to look for reflections? Or is it something that now that you've gone through the process of learning this, it's kind of more natural? You are aware of Buddhist way of thinking and just kind of combine it with your day to day?
Ah, well, I've learned many things along the way. So many things are kind of fluent in my life. For example, when I want to fight someone because I'm annoyed or I'm angry, I remember a teaching that says the only way to win a fight is to not participate in a fight. So okay, I'm like, okay, don't complain. This is maybe they meant well, maybe they were stressed. Another thing that I remember here is that everything has a reason. Um, Maybe they were frustrated with something that happened during the day. Maybe he's harassed, or maybe she's stressed. It's just I don't know. It's like um, it's ignorance that I have. So with these teachings, I try to kind of calm myself down, and that way I can kind of move on peacefully.
You mentioned your art exhibition for the middle of 2026.
Yes,
Is it going to be in Tokyo?
yes.
What kind of exhibition are you looking for? What are you trying to create there?
I am doing a lot of watercolor painting, and I really want to share an essence of compassion and coexistence. Sometimes we want to dominate everything. We want like only my team to win, but I realize that everybody has to be happy for me to be happy. For example, if you have a hangnail, you are worried about it, even if it's just really tiny, the whole day doesn't go well.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that the other people are happy as well. So in order to keep receiving, you have to keep giving. You have to be compassionate, and we have to prioritize coexisting. So that's what I want to kind of invoke with my paintings. I'm doing a lot of circles that represent cells to tell that everybody is connected, and that's what I'm preparing now.
Sounds very exciting.
I can show you the photos later.
Yeah, I would love to see,
Yeah.
and hopefully maybe get the chance to go to Tokyo to see it in person
Yes,
too.
please.
Where do you get all your inspiration from? Who are you mentioned you like Mariah Carey a lot,
Yes.
but for your art, for the way you express yourself and communicate, do you have people you look up to?
Um, I look up to Drew Barrymore, and the American actress, because she feels very honest and herself, which was the opposite from who I was when I was a child. So I really wanted to be direct with my emotions and share it. So she's my inspiration. In terms of art, I love something that lasts forever, not something that is just trendy now. For example, flowers, beautiful animals, nature. These things are considered beautiful since the beginning of time, and I think it's going to be like that until the end of the time. So these are the things that I usually like to draw.
Interesting.
Yes.
Because especially in Buddhism, there's this kind of a feeling of impermanence, right? That things never last and things are always changing.
Mm.
But the things that inspire you are somehow the things of which the essence stays kind of alive forever, so to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's same with makeup. I like to do something that is not like of now, like not like trendy. Fashion also, I like to cultivate my own style that I think will be beautiful after many years. So that's maybe because my mom is a piano teacher,
Mhm.
and a lot of pieces have been passed on for like centuries. So maybe that's how I have that flavor.
How was it for you and your parents, and that you've kind of gone full circle in a way? You grew up in the temple, you left and went around, and in the end came back for the teachings, and now are bringing a new way of practicing Buddhism into the spotlight. How has it been then, kind of with your parents as well, who maybe you mentioned your father didn't necessarily want you to become a monk, but now you are there and you're.
I think my father never expected that his
Mhm.
son will be like a princess or be homosexual and publish books and, yeah, kind of be known. It's a world and the life that we never expected. And I don't know how it's going to be, but I'm very grateful for all the things that I have been able to experience and all the hearts that I was able to touch. I receive letters and messages that makes me feel that, oh, my struggle of my childhood was not to be wasted, but it's something that I use to encourage other people.
If you think back about you as a child, kind of afraid to share, to open up to other people, and you look at this child now, what would you want to tell him?
I would say even if a million people would tell no about homosexuality or you being kind of like a princess, they might all be wrong. So just believe in yourself because later, maybe 30 years later, everybody will be praising you.
Have you seen a lot of change in the way the LGBTQ community is perceived since when you grew up and now, and especially now you kind of being proactively working on that change?
I've seen a lot of changes. When I was young, nobody really talked about LGBTQ people, but now when you go to bookstores, there are many books about LGBTQ rights. There are many TV shows, reality shows, RuPaul's Drag Race, The
Mhm.
Boyfriend, the next Netflix series. These are huge changes that I never expected. And little by little, I'm sure that society is going to change also.
We talked a lot about your impact here in Japan, but ultimately your work, your book, for example, has been translated. You've gone to Thailand and you've gone abroad as well. How do you feel the interactions are with people here in Japan and maybe compared to people in Europe, or when you go back to the United States sometimes maybe? Do you feel like people come to you with different problems or different questions or in search of different things?
I think the biggest difference is that Japanese people are not so religious, so they don't
Hmm.
have negative impression when it comes to being who they are, um, rooting in religion. But other countries, they grow up with different values that are maybe very forceful. They usually tell me that, oh, didn't know religion can be so um, accepting and welcoming. So these are the things that I'm really happy to hear about. And they were the people who helped me to come out. My American friends, my Spanish friends, they, I don't know how, but I think they are very expressive and they are free outside of the religious context. So it's like a give back to them that they gave me freedom, and I would like to give you back another type of freedom.
You just mentioned that a lot of people tell you that they didn't know religion can be so accepting, and especially in this case, Pure Land Buddhism. What are some of the stereotypes you often face and that you have to kind of explain? No, this is not what Buddhism is about, or this is not what we do, or things can be different.
So there are two big families of Buddhism. One is Theravada, and the other one is Mahayana Buddhism. So Theravada Buddhism is the traditional, original form of Buddhism that developed in maybe Thailand, Cambodia, Tibet, Myanmar, where they wear orange robes and they live a very strict life. And the other one, Mahayana Buddhism, is what's believed in China, Korea, and Japan, where we don't necessarily wear the yellow or orange robes, but we wear like black or other color robes. And we believe in Amida Buddha, many of us. So these are two different families. And when a lot of people imagine Buddhism, they only know about Theravada Buddhism, the previous one. So they don't know that it's okay to wear makeup or have different jobs. But as I said, Buddhism is something that evolves with many elements, and this is what we believe in Japan. So, well, religion also, Buddhism also has diversity in it. So that's what I would like to say.
When people are interested in learning, where do you recommend they start? Is there a book, a teaching, a person that you recommend them? Oh, maybe listen to this or read this and start from there.
Before going to a school, maybe learn about the origin of Buddhism and the kind of like primary teachings, such as there is always suffering as long as we have attachments, go to the middle path. These teachings that were created by the original Buddha, that I think is the safest and most neutral, I would say. Because some of them, maybe they try to invite you to their temple or include you into the community that is maybe a little bit different from learning the Buddhism itself.
When you come from a very different cultural background like myself, where Buddhism is not common, and you read about Buddhism or you read a Buddhist text or story, a lot of the reference points are lost. So what I mean is there may be implications or hidden meanings behind certain flowers, certain animals, certain stories. But if we don't have the cultural context because we didn't grow up with that, it's sometimes difficult to understand. If we read the original text from Buddha, oh, what does he mean here?
You know what? The book they should is my book, because I talk about the original teachings.
So for people who want to start, maybe start with this book.
Yeah,
and they can have a modern perspective, a modern understanding of the traditional teachings.
Right, but I also talk about what it is to be a Buddhist monk, what is Buddhism, my favorite, like fundamental teachings, and also some of my favorite teachings. So this is what I know is in here.
What you know is in here. We talked about briefly before the podcast as well. Sometimes monks have like a kind of a daily observation, a daily a thought, a reflection on life, Sippo, I think it's in Japanese. And I was wondering if maybe you had something that you recently thought about and recently figured out that maybe you would like to share.
Yes. So recently I was caught up in like fighting with being who I am and the expectation of who I think other people expect on me. And I was thinking, how should I live? And I decided to invite two versions of me into my life. One is a 5-year-old Kodo, and another is Kodo in coffin. And I consult with them. Is this something that I want to do? For example, maybe let's say, I have an opportunity to travel abroad, maybe. And maybe I'm telling, like, my current self is telling me, oh, I should save money. Oh, I have projects to do. Maybe I should clean here or do things in Japan because I should be very serious and productive. And maybe the 5-year-old Kodo says, oh, but work is something that I'm not interested. Number of followers or the money or fame is something that doesn't interest 5-year-old Kodo. Maybe he's interested in visiting a new country, or maybe painting or fashion. These things are something that the core of me are interested in, not the values that I learned growing up. You have to be serious and productive and professional and successful. These are not important to him. And another Kodo in Coffin is going to say, oh, be ready to pass away any day. If you sacrifice yourself or don't live the way that you want, you might regret. So have fun and enjoy and explore the world while you can, because one day it's going to be in the end. So I try to listen to my core instinct and live without regret. I know that life is, sometimes we talk about afterlife in Buddhism, but what we have is now. So this is two people that I think everybody should introduce into their brain.
You brought them into that conversation, talking about how recently you were struggling with other people's expectations of you and your expectations of yourself.
Yeah.
When looking at it from the outside, just like you gave the example with Maya Carey, it looks like you're at peace with yourself. You've accepted you yourself as a person, who you want to be, how you want to express yourself, what you want to do. Yet you still have struggles. Is it an endless cycle? Is there a way to find that peace, to kind of?
I think unless we have struggles, we don't feel like we have achieved something or we grow. And I would like to keep growing and feel even freer or more knowledgeable or aware. I think these are necessary to feel happiness.
The struggle is the way,
I
so
think
to
so
say.
sometimes.
Isn't that tiring as a monk to kind of come to this realization that, well, the only path towards enlightenment is endless struggle, so to say, to kind of follow the struggle to enlightenment?
We can, the experiences of life makes me stronger to prevent struggles. For example, maybe it might rain, but if we have umbrellas, we can avoid that. Maybe we can have a video game to play at home and we can avoid that. There are many ways to surf the life. And when something new comes out, then we learn how to avoid that. I don't think the same type of struggle comes to our life once we learn how to kind of navigate them. So I mean, it's just life, and it's part of the spice,
So what's next for you? You have this art exhibition coming up. I imagine this will kind of take up a lot of your time as well to plan and prepare for. But I imagine you have dreams of maybe another book you'd like to write, or is there something that you hope to achieve one day that you haven't reached yet, that you're kind of chasing after in a way?
Well, I always tell myself that everything I need is here. As long as I have my family and friends, I am enough, that, I have achieved enough. But if I can reach more people, and if I can save one more life or give light to another person, that's amazing. I always want to learn about the world. I would like to talk to people who come from different backgrounds, religious roots. I think religion is something that you live and not you really learn. So by talking and experiencing, I think that gives me a lot of excitement to visit new countries. So that's what I would like to keep doing.
A long journey ahead. And from what you mentioned, with people sending you many letters, you are having a positive impact on them. You're making the change you're hoping to make. And hopefully many more lives you can kind of touch. Kodo Nishimura, is there something today that we haven't really talked about that was important for you? A teaching, an experience? I know you've had a very extensive life already, but we only touched upon so little today. Maybe there's something that comes to mind that was very important for you to talk about.
I would like to say that in order to make others happy, you have to be happy first. So prioritize yourself, live without regrets, and that's the happiness that you can gain, that you can share with the world. So don't hesitate to live a happy, fun, enjoying life.
Oh, that's interesting. I had this impression that, with this idea in Buddhism, perhaps to be more selfless, that you should not prioritize yourself. But it's interesting that, and I agree, you have to be happy to help others. If you're miserable, you have nothing to give to others, right?
I think being selfish and mean and being self-content and happy enough to help others is a little different.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's something not to be confused. I'm not telling you to do whatever you want, and no, it's kind of like live in a harmony, but
self-care.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Japan where it was all about harmony, community, and kind of sacrificing yourself. And I think the balance was broken. So that's what I tell people. And the people who are listening to this, I think are maybe conscious or careful, considerate people. So that's what I tell you this. But of course, I wouldn't tell this to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's you and the listener of this podcast, I think.
So take care of yourself and take care of others.
Yes.
I think that's a great way to maybe end this conversation.
Thank you.
Kodo Nishimura, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much
for bringing your book, sharing your teachings and your story. I hope that our listeners enjoyed it just as much as I did. And I'm sure the moment we will stop recording, I'll have many more questions that come to mind. They always do. And then we're like, we should still be recording. But maybe that's a reason to have you back another time for more teachings. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toby.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was Unpacking Japan, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you for sticking with us all the way till the end. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the podcast. It helps us improve the show and bring you more in-depth conversations from Japan. Take care and see you next time.